Welcome everyone to February Low Ink of 2026. I'm Omazen, seated down here with Siberino. Sib, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, hanging in there, just resting up this weekend and yeah, but I'm very excited, as this is my first low wink that I'll be commentating and it's also nice to be commentating with you once again. When was the last time we commentated? Was it like back in CCA League 6 or something like that?
That sounds about right. I was about to say that myself too when you were starting to mention it. So it's been a hot minute, but still a lot of fun games to be had, of course, today. And Low Ink is always pretty stacked, right? It always has so much exciting talent coming together to square off, see who can kind of get to the top of the peak by the end of day two, right? So a
Mhm.
lot of fun games here for sure. I'm excited. We're starting off on Splatzone's Hagglefish Market, of course, too. Very fun map. I don't know. Do you have any takes personally when you first look at this set here, Seb?
Um Honestly, I don't know. Like, all I can say is I just want to get the first round started just so that I could see what's going on between both these two teams. Which, by the way, we will be seeing Sea Cadence versus Let Me Be Clear. From what I could tell, I do see some familiar players on both these teams. I don't remember. I don't remember. Some of them because it's been a while since I've seen them in low ink or when I fought them in low ink. But we'll find out soon enough once we get round one started right now.
Starting right now indeed, and both teams loading into the map. We see some Tetras, we see a Mint Decav, a Blaster. It's a pretty even kind of match off here, if you ask me, with the different tools each team has at their disposal. Different ways to break in, different ways to also just create pressure on the map rapidly. We see the pen here from the side of Sea Cadence setting up, putting out paint for their team, helping defend that zone and trying to secure as much space as they can as the opening seconds start off.
Yeah, we do see one player going down. That I believe that was the Slosher. Yeah, it was. The Slosher does go down, but the pencil on I believe it's Sea Cadence, right? Yeah, Sea Cadence. They do go down, but it didn't bother. It didn't affect the team whatsoever, as Sea Cadence is able to get the first push in the zone. But unfortunately, one of the members does go down. But there was a trade between the Tetras. So things are kind of regressing to how Sea Cadence started off from the beginning, but as I say that, the S-Blast does go down, but two players from Let Me Be Clear go down.
I really liked the play that Sea Cadence had there throughout that first, I don't know, 50 ticks of them holding the zone. As I say all this, the Tetra's going on an absolute spree, getting a triple. Look at that. That's the energy that Let Me Be Clear needs as they open up here. That has just opened up such a window of opportunity, although Mint Decaf may be trying to say something otherwise as they create just enough of a distraction for their team to get the flip back.
Yeah, and we did see the Tetras did go back to help out their teammates to taking out the decaf, but I think the decaf just did an incredible job in just distracting everybody from Let Me Be Clear, that it did enable Sea Cadence to go back in and reclaim the zone, and now the Pencil got an assist there on I believe the Forge Pro, and yeah, I don't know, like things are just looking pretty back and forth between these two teams at the moment.
Definitely would agree, but when you get picks like how that mini just threw that hammer and took out one of the members of Let Me Be Clear, that's really important. And honestly, the mini's been putting in the work here throughout this entire match. They haven't really moved up too far up. They've definitely minded their space. They're kind of the guardian of the zone as long as they can stay up. They're not really extending too far up. They are helping with fights. Like, look at that team up they had with the S-Blast, able to chip off that Tetris a little bit, make sure that they can't get a slider up. That's huge for their team. And then just the constant hammer throws again, being able to support the Mint Decav jumping in, being able to support also that S-Blast again, of course. It's created so much constant pressure where the members of Let Me Be Clear can't even really stay up and get their specials fully set up.
I did notice there that the Tetris was going to use Reef, but unfortunately, I think they fumbled it as they got it set up, and because of that, it didn't able to capture the zone along with the strikes. Sea Cadence is able to get game number 1 in Swiss round 1.
That was a really strong showing from them as well. We talked about it a little bit earlier too, but just every single member of the team was very in tune with one another, right? The pencil was constantly looking to create as many painting opportunities to reduce flanks, right? And then also the mini kind of acting as a strong support, making sure there's always paint on the board too. And the other two members taking their selective flanks, not necessarily taking the same angles either, which is really important. That splash seemed to typically lean to the left, the mint decav kind of covering the right side. And when you create pincers or indirect pincers like that, it's really difficult to find opportunities to break in unless if the team as a whole is able to dedicate their resources to dealing with them. So heading
Mhm.
into a different map like Rainmaker Humpback, where a lot of efforts have to be a bit more coordinated to awkward points of the map, like the shoulders that both teams have to move into, right? I think it's going to create potentially a different sort of opportunity for both teams.
Yeah, from what I from what I can tell, it seems like I do have a feeling that both of these teams may be sticking to what they have regarding like their comp, because I feel like both of their comps like just work well in Humpback Rainmaker, and I feel like for Tetris, it definitely will be a fun time for them as well. Because I think like for dualies in general, you can have some pretty great picks, and also just create a lot of like unexpected flanks that no one will predict. But anyways, we got game number 2 started here, folks, and I did notice that they swapped the Tetris for the blue dapples.
Ooh, yeah, that's a different choice for sure. A lot of the same kit, right? But they are a bit more aggro with just the amount of pressure that the Dapples can put out and the speed it sort of has. Look at them already trying to rush the mini, although the Blaster coming in clutch to help them out of that situation. And that Hammer almost taking out the bucket from the side of Lemme Be Clear as well, who's just barely holding on to their bunker. As in the meantime, the rest of Sea Cadence goes ahead and grabs that check on the far right.
Yeah, great start for Sea Cadence here. We do see the Tetras trying to rush in and get the, I believe it was the pencil, and they were able to get not only 1 but 2 picks, which is very crucial for Let Me Be Clear. And now we see the pencil grabbing the Rainmaker, and now we can see a very potential push coming in from Let Me Be Clear.
No, true. And just as you say that, they go ahead and get that checkpoint, getting a lot of good pressure overall put out at the same time, too. Although, just as I say that, Commentators curse Mr. Saturn from the side of Sea Cadence going in, getting a double, trying to find that triple, not necessarily finishing it off, but creating just enough of a distraction for the team to move that Rainmaker out of their checkpoint zone.
Yeah, and I did want to point out earlier that the Blue Dapples was able to survive during when they super jumped to their checkpoint, and now I think this enabled Let Me Be Clear to go ahead and just stop the push from Sea Cadence, and now they're already in the lead, able to get 3 points remaining. That is actually an incredible push, but this is Rainmaker in Humpback. No lead is safe in this map mode specifically.
It really isn't, but when you have players like that Dapples who are just willing to shark around, do whatever they can, that's a lot of great pressure, and we saw them just barely not get that Rainmaker on top of the checkpoint, unfortunately. Trying to wrap up the game right here and now, but Entei's gonna take a note from the side of Sea Cadence and just kind of go and take a fight as fast as they can. Just moving the Rainmaker. They currently have 2 down on the side of Lemme Be Clear, staggering them very gradually as a couple players keep going down, trying to create new opportunities for themselves to move in. The decap really just diving in as far as they can too, setting up that bubble to create kind of a buffer as they try to keep finding resources to move forward. Although that Dapples, once again, kind of just continuing to put out those crazy flanks as they pressure the team and try to prevent them from moving in.
Yeah, we do see the strikes and the reef slider coming out from Let Me Be Clear, and this does enable the members of Let Me Be Clear to go in a little bit and take a paint control on their, I believe, their spawn area, and they certainly did that, exactly just that, and they were also able to take out the Rainmaker carrier, and looky there, I do see a decap flanking. Will they be able to get a pick? They did, but unfortunately, it is a trait though.
Yeah, but even just the value of causing that distraction might be enough to create an opportunity here. If they got that hammer pick on that pencil, as we saw just fly through the air, that would have been huge too, but the decav's already back up again. They're trying to find a key pick. They don't find anything. The Rainmaker's getting surrounded. It's looking like they're going to have to reset up a new opportunity here as they try to find a chance to push in again.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, definitely a reset that Sea Cadence has to do here. But I think with the decav out in Let Me Be Clear spawn, I think this is a good opportunity for a reset. But by the looks of it, I do see the Rainmaker just out in the open in Let Me Be Clear's window. Which is going to be really hard for Sea Cadence to grab it, but it is going to reset eventually, and I think this is a good opportunity for another push for Sea Cadence to pursue.
Blaster does go down there to a very convenient bomb from Cherry of Let Me Be Clear. Picks are going back and forth from each side. The decav on this left flank now trying to find an opportunity to break in or at least cause enough of a distraction to get resources away from the easier right side push that Sea Cadence is trying to look to set up. But the members of Let Me Be Clear kind of just don't really care about any of that. They're still causing chaos. We see that Dapples, who is completely unattended for, taking out the Mini. That's a really key pick if you're on the side of Let Me Be Clear. And we have 5 seconds left. Who's going to make anything happen? We'll have to see.
Yeah, and we do see, oh, okay, I was just gonna say, we do see just things being neutral for now, but I guess it's because it is the final several seconds of that game, and yeah, so it looks like Let Me Be Clear is able to get game number 2 for round 1. I honestly liked what I saw from Let Me Be Clear. Like they were just, I think from what I could tell, like they just like to rush down some of the members from Sea Cadence to the point where it really puts them out of position a lot. And I think that was just the key play because I think from what I could tell, their Let Me Be Clear's comp is very like to rush down. While Sea Cadence just has more of like a control style type of comp. I don't know if you agree with me there.
No, I think I would agree with that. The side of Let Me Be Clear, they really know how to aggressively push an area rapidly. And when everything's a lot more sort of centralized, I think it creates a lot more opportunities for them to just cause a bit more chaos than on the opposite end of things with Sea Cadence. Sea Cadence, I think, really flourishes the most when they have very clear, direct lanes that they can work off of. Like Hagglefish Market is very easily, very clearly split into sort of 3 core areas that are relatively straightforward. Whereas Humpback is a lot more diverse in your just sight lines, where you can go, where you can shark out of, and we saw the Dapples really taking advantage of that there. And other players who on Hagglefish just were practically unstoppable, like the Mini, had a few more troubles. So going on to something like Clamblitz, Scorch Gorge, which is sort of almost a merging of the two conceptually in some ways, although it definitely has its own quirks as well. I think we might see a few new strategies come out as both teams try to adapt to each other, but also try to play to their strengths on this map too.
Yeah, I think like in Splat Zones, we were able to get a good idea on what Sea Cadence does with their comp, but in Rainmaker Humpback, we are able to see what Let Me Be Clear can do in that particular with their comp. So it's pretty much going to determine like what these two teams have to do in order to have a successful game 3. Which, by the way, folks, it is starting right now. And it looks like let me be clear, switching the Tetras back to or switching the blue dabbles back to the Tetras from earlier.
Yeah, we do see that change back. So we're basically at square one again with how the first match of this set played out. However, that doesn't mean that the plays as a whole are going to look the same, as both teams kind of know what they're looking for a bit more now. We do see the Doolies leaning into some of these hits as well, and both teams are kind of at a standstill. Sid, what are you seeing?
We see the Tetras going in with Reef Slider, and I thought for a second they were gonna get a pick or two, but they didn't get any, and did get penalized by getting taken down as all of the members of Sea Cadence just jumped on them. And now we see the Decav out setting up a bubbler on Let Me Be Clear's ramp. The Tetris was able to get them, but unfortunately though they did get taken out by the hammer coming in from the mini on Sea Cadence. And now we see the first basket throw in Sea Cadence side.
Yeah, for sure. And once again, we do see the side as Sea Cadence. They are trying to find more opportunities to break in. This Decav is kind of just being allowed to walk up a little bit, although they're trying to bide their time, making sure the right opportunity is there. And with that Booyah Bomb, it might be, although on the flip side, we do see the Tetra Doolies coming out, trying to create enough value for their team to start to ease up as well. And I think they did get that window they were looking for. Sea Cadence wasn't able to really work off of the Booyah Bomb or bubble, unfortunately. And these trades back and forth have created just enough chaos where it's bought Let Me Be Clear some time to get a bit more stable themselves, get maybe a few more clams on hand, and kind of just go from there.
Yeah, exactly. And right now, both these teams are just being on the neutral side, but Sea Cadence does have the upper advantage here as they have control of top mid here. But I do see the mini go taken down, and we see all of the members of Let Me Be Clear just rushing in and taking out both the blaster and the decav. And now we see a potential push, and they were able to get the first basket in, a couple more clams in. And, yeah, we're gonna see if they're gonna continue the push.
They definitely are trying to make it happen the best they can, but unfortunately, that Reef Slider from the Tetras isn't going to necessarily find the value it was looking for, as that ramp kind of just acts as a huge denial if you're spaced out enough. But now Sea Cadence already kind of taking a note out of Let Me Be Clear's book on how that push went on their side of just moving up rapidly and trying to find different angles to get set up on while they're a bit distracted. That decav crossing as well, not able to find more than a pick, but causing enough of a distraction for the rest of the team to throw some balls in, or at least try to, as one falls off the map.
Honestly, I can definitely feel the pain coming from Sea Cadence the moment that power ball just dropped in the abyss. Like, I think everyone can relate to that, honestly. But I think this isn't too damaging for Sea Cadence, as they still do have most of control in mid here, and another potential push going on. Are they able to get the power ball in? They certainly did, and by the looks of it, with that power ball, this does result in a lead swap.
Pretty significant one, too, without too much time even really passing, right? A lot of the team members were already up. They had like 4 to 6 clams roughly on each person, and just with that pressure alone, they were able to really rapidly get that score down all the way to remaining 31. So now it's kind of in Let Me Be Clear's hands of if they're able to, with the last minute or so remaining, find a lead of their own, and it seems like they're trying to find those flank opportunities. The Tetras unfortunately do go down. The rest of the members trying to build up specials to see if they can create that window they're looking for to break back in, or at least get the other team dispersed. 2 go down though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, 2 go down though, and this may create a bit of a potential control in mid here, and of course a potential push, but by the looks of it, it seems like they do want to paint again for more of their specials, and I think we see the missiles coming out and the Reef Slider trying to come out, but unfortunately though, they just got shut down by the members of Sea Cadence. But I still think that that the control of mid here is still in Let Me Be Clear's favor here. All they got to do is just try to at least get a distraction going in order to result a good push. And the Tetras was able to get in there, but they did get taken down by the pencil, and only 10 seconds remaining here, folks.
Yeah, the seconds are ticking down here. They're all trying to find their own opportunities, and hopefully that's not to their detriment. We do have an overtime going down right now. Dooley's does find one. They get another player heavily damaged, but it's not enough to necessarily take them out just yet. We see Mugi here trying really hard to move up, trying to find that key pick to allow themselves a break in. We have probably 10 ticks remaining. The ball goes down. It's looking really tough here as the side of
Oh.
Let Me Be Clear can't find that overtime throw to get themselves back in the game as Sea Cadence takes the win.
I think from what I could tell, I don't know if this is just me, but from what I noticed, I think Let Me Be Clear we're kind of trying to figure out where the decaf was, because we saw the decaf just uh giving the element of surprises in certain areas of the map. And they've been doing that a lot in the previous two games. And I think because of that, I think because of that, it did kind of trigger some sort of like worrying moment there for Let Me Be Clear. Because I think they were just making sure they don't want the decaf to affect their push, and I think they kind of were playing it a bit too safe at like the final minutes of their when they were trying to get a final push going.
Yeah, I think I definitely see what you're saying with that there too. I think what also played into that too, and just how that final push went, is the side of uh, let me be clear, they were trying really hard to just find anything to. I believe we saw the pro drop down at one point, kind of just dragging attention away. And just movements like that and plays like that just help divert the attention of Sea Cadence as a whole away from kind of this one clear checkpoint of we all want to get to the basket of like, oh, there's this player who just sharked or just dropped somewhere that is going to be a problem if we don't deal with it. And those players from the side of Sea Cadence, they didn't commit to those placements either. They jumped out. They just stayed there long enough for the side of Let Me Be Clear to have to think they have to deal with it. So just causing enough of chaos a little bit, enough just distractions, really helped them stall time just enough where they could get that clear victory and prevent that window of opportunity from really realizing itself too, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And but still though, like I still think that both of these teams really put on a wonderful show in round 1 of Low Wing. So what a great start to not only